Hey everyone, going for my daily walk. But this is downtown Springfield. I live downtown now. I grew up in the suburbs of Springfield, not in the downtown area. But the place where I grew up was lots of trees, lots of grass, small houses, little cape houses. And I pretty much grew up around all white people. It's just how things were. My mom and dad, I guess that's how they wanted us to be raised. So that's where I grew up. All my friends were white. And quite honestly, as far as I knew, I was kind of white, even though I don't look it. I definitely, quote unquote, spoke it and speak it now. I didn't have any black friends that I can remember. I had cousins that I hung out with, but no black friends. So that's what I grew up with. And it's crazy how it still reflects on my thoughts and my actions and my behaviors and what I seek and what I think is attractive. And like I'm wearing a Dropkick Murphy shirt, and that's what I assimilated with. So I'm a songwriter, but the music that I make today is very reminiscent of 80s rock. Grew up around listening to Rush and Yes and groups like that. That's the music that I grew up with. Journey, I was a huge Journey fan. Everything Journey. And I sang those songs, and I wrote songs like that and performed songs like that. About 15 years ago or 12 years ago, I had kind of an epiphany, and I realized I was having some issues on my back. I was having, back acne, like every middle-aged adult, I guess. And it was really frustrating me. And I was in this training program, and I remember just like being so frustrated, I just said out loud, "I hate my skin." And I was referring to the back acne. But what really showed up for me was how much I hated being a black man and how I avoided my people. I didn't like them, and I didn't know that I didn't like them until I started saying things like that. So I decided to change that and started seeking my people. And today, if you check my Facebook, I'm fairly active on speaking up for my people and against a lot of the things that happen. But I think the quote-unquote issue I have is that I still think very much so like a white person. My brother found this band that was a club band, and they were playing R&B and dance music, and they took us under their wing. That band back then was called New Star. Shout out to Joe Salins and Kevin Ray or Kevin Baskerville, Rick Marshall, Ty, Too Shy Ty. Those guys, they helped us, man. They took us out of the world of rock. Back then, I remember being a little angry and saying to myself, but not them, why can't I be a rock and roll artist? I don't sing like an R&B guy. So I was a little bitter at them. They might not have known it. And they were teaching us how to harmonize, and they were teaching us how to do things that I didn't hear on my radio station. My station that I listened to played, rock and dance music. You don't know sometimes how you're being influenced, especially by your environment. And my parents, I think, were doing a great job of exposing me to success. So they were setting me up for a mindset and an understanding and a structure of hard work and doing things legally and not leaning on your on welfare and things like that. But at the same time, they were destroying who I was culturally, and they didn't know that. And I don't think anybody really knew that. There was a lot of black people who were moving into white neighborhoods because those neighborhoods were safer and you could do better, and you didn't have to worry about your child in a sense. But on the flip side, it would completely strip those young people of a culture that loved them. And I know that sounds nuts, but it's reality. Those white people didn't like me. They didn't like me. They didn't like when my cousins came over. They would fake it. They were real good at faking, but they didn't like us. And as I got older, I saw that more and more, how I wasn't desired. And the more of us that moved into that neighborhood, the more of them that moved out. It woke me up, man. I kept getting woke up to more and more how much I wasn't liked. I would never be fully tolerated. And no matter what I did, said, how good I was not gonna be good enough. I was a phenomenal musician. I played accordion, guys. I played the accordion. I played polkas for 5 years. I was the second best polka player in America. I had the trophy at home to prove it. There's a reason we're putting Venue in the heart of the hood. It's because nobody else will.